Today I'm going to be walking you through my design process for an original app I created called Wavetable. The idea behind the project comes from my interest in graphic design and sound design, and this app's goal is to educate the users about sound design and synthesis through interactive graphic design. This project started off with inspiration from other platforms that teach all kinds of topics about sound production. And from this inspiration, I decided that parts of Swiss style would be appropriate for my project. After the aesthetic style was decided on, I decided on color palette, which used mostly neutral colors, black, white, and a tan hue, with orange as an accent color for visual interest. I decided on orange because I felt it was still a vibrant color for excitement or movement and not as cliche as using yellow for energy or green for electronics. Also, the neutral colors combined with orange matched the hardware that I was planning on using for my gallery installation, which I believed would tie all the aspects of my project together. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, all gallery plans were canceled and people would no longer be able to interact with my project hands-on. In the beginning of my project and process, I focused on creating the identity of the app with logo type sketches and iterations. I played around with the idea of somehow using waveform shapes to create letter forms, and eventually created the final logo type. I also decided on a typeface for the body text. The logo type uses a typeface called Omnium Tagline, which has been modified by me to create a ligature, and the body text uses a sans serif typeface called Source Sans Pro, which is the first open source typeface created by Adobe. For the screens, I started by creating paper prototypes and mapped out where graphic elements would go, where text would go, navigation elements, and pretty much all the aspects of the app. Digital iterations were then created, and initially my project was, as you can see, dominated by white, but this would eventually be changed, and my project would be then dominated by black in the final versions, which I believe to be much more aesthetically pleasing and interesting. There's a demo video to show you sort of a walkthrough of the app itself. The app follows an invisible Swiss grid. All the text is left aligned, and all the icons and icon animations are custom made to represent the specific topic that they revolve around. In this screen, this is a second screen called Synths and Sound Waves, again left aligned. This screen teaches people about 4 waveforms that are very important when you're using a synthesizer to create sounds. And then there are audio examples of these sound waves, also created by me. This next screen is about parts, which is pretty much just diving into the hardware. An oscillator is an electronic part. With a sound example, a filter, so there's a filter icon. An envelope, which we'll get into later, an amplifier, which just increases volume, some special effects that teaches people about extra features in some synths. Arpeggios, for you familiar with piano, reverb, three-dimensional reverberation, panning, and delay. Synthesis theory, and then my personal favorite, the examples screen, which shows sort of real-life examples. The first one being a sample of a marimba ringtone, R2-D2. Using subtractive synthesis and more subtractive synthesis in music. And then the actual context of the music. So yes, this sort of is an app that just sort of shows the ins and outs of basic synthesis. And citations that sort of informed my design process and sort of helped me give words to the complex ideas that are really involved in all of this sound design and sound synthesis.